What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for another episode on our P-400 by Eduard in 1/48 scale. Today we're going to go ahead and get to some painting. Very excited to see what we can do with that. So let's go ahead and grab the model and get started. Now last time I overcoated everything with a very nice Stynylrez black primer. It's okay. I'm not really sure if I'm digging Stynylrez. Sometimes it comes out great, other times not so great. But this is okay for today, and I'm going to go ahead and cover over most of it with some pre-shade and some marbling coat. So I think it's going to be okay. At least ways it kind of uniforms the color and it gives us a look at any seams that may need to be fixed. So we are good there. We're going to go ahead and move on to some colors. Now also last episode I did mention that I installed the gun incorrectly. Let me zoom in here for you and I'll show you what I mean. I actually glued it in too far. As you can see here with that little demarcation line, that's how much we actually needed to extend the gun outside of that hub. To do that, I just cut off the gun and I attached it to this little Q-tip here that has a hollow core. Went ahead and I just glued it in there and I can actually move it forward and get the right length. So that's about where I want it now. So we have to come on back, use some super glue here to go ahead and lock that into place and then eventually prime it and we can paint it. So I think we're on the right track with that. I just misread the instructions, to be honest. User error for sure. Now when it comes to the paint, guys, we are actually given quite a few really awesome looking schemes. And after careful consideration, I've decided to try to do this one right here. The reason being is that it's got this really cool kind of a piecemeal effect here with the olive drab and the neutral gray for the American colors right here on the left wing. Then the right wing is going to use the standard British colors. So I've got some US olive drab and I've got some neutral gray, so that should be fine for that side. The rest of it's going to get the British dark earth and the British dark green. So that's going to be for that. And the underside will get sky by Tamiya. So that's going to be great for that. So that's going to go ahead and take care of the majority of the rest of the aircraft. Now there are some little areas right here up in the nose here where we should have a little bit of a lightened green. We can do that a little bit later after we airbrush everything there. And a couple of panels on the opposite side, which is in the olive drab color. So we do have a lot of work to do and I think it's going to be kind of fun to try. So that's why I want to go ahead and do that particular version. I wanted to try something different and I haven't actually seen this one painted anywhere on the net. So I thought, you know what, let's just give it a shot. Let's try it out, see what we can do. Hopefully with any luck, I should be able to pull it off. Now, since this is a P-400 and P-400s are pretty war weary, we want to go ahead and attempt to do a little bit of shading in the paint. So to get that going, I think I'm going to go ahead and use some white and kind of marble coat the entire aircraft in that. I'll come in with a little bit of concrete gray to add in some distinguishing panels, some blue as well to give some contrast. Now for the British side, I'm going to also use white and probably use a little bit of this desert yellow or maybe some desert tan for some contrasting panels. And then of course with the dark earth and of course the dark green, that should be kind of interesting to see how those colors really contrast. I don't really know what's going to happen, but we're going to try it. We're going to have some fun. I also have some interior green I can use for contrasting panels. I even thought about using some yellow green by Tamiya. It's a little bit too greenish for me though, so I thought about using just plain old zinc chromate. That's the yellow version by MRP. Might be kind of cool too. So I'm just going to jump into that time lapse. We're going to go ahead and push on with that pre-shade. Just have fun with it. Go a little crazy and see what we come out with on the other side. So let's go ahead and jump in, guys. Let's start having some fun. All right, everybody, so we are back and we're going to move on to the base coats of neutral gray. As you can see, this is going to be some pretty interesting colors because I've gone a bit wacky with the pre-shade. Not sure how this is going to turn out. So we're going to go ahead and keep our paint super thin and we're just going to mix up the neutral gray and try that first. We do have to go ahead and move on with the other colors, the US colors, of course, and then the British colors, and then we'll see how we get along with that. Applications and the markings for the camo are going to be a little bit tricky, but we're going to try it and just hope for the best. I'm going to do this with all of my paints for all the top colors. We're going to make them super thin, and we're going to apply multiple layers. Again, keeping it super thin, a little bit of flow improver for the Vallejo. Let's go ahead and jump into that time lapse, guys. We have a lot of our base colors to work on. Let's go ahead and get all the US colors done and then start on the British undersurface of sky and then the green as well. Let's do it, guys. This should be interesting. All right, everybody, moving right along. As you can see, we've got the British dark green already applied. The American colors of OD green and neutral gray are applied on the other wing. I've masked those off, so we're not going to get any overspray on those. And then, of course, we have our sky under the lower surface for the rest of the aircraft. So we're looking okay. But now I have to come in and start doing the dark earth color. And for that, I need to go ahead and make some form of paint mask. So we're going to take some frog tape, and I'm going to go ahead and take my X-Acto knife with a very sharp number 11 blade. And we're going to basically trace out a camo pattern pattern based on what I see here in the instructions. Once I have that more or less to my liking, I'll just stick it on down, covering the green, then exposing the areas between the green where I'll go ahead and paint the earth color. So I think that's going to be a good move to make. They're not going to be perfect, mind you. If I want to get really specific, I could actually take a photocopy of this page, blow it up into the correct scale, and then go ahead and print it in black and white, and then cut out the different areas and tape those down. But I don't have the facility to do that, so we're just going to go ahead and freehand it with tape and an X-Acto knife. So we're going to go ahead and just start moving forward with that. Once I go ahead and get enough of these masked off, we'll go ahead and make sure we've got everything protected for overspray, and we can come in and then start painting the dark earth. Again, I'm going to use Vallejo. I'm going to go ahead and thin it out as much as I can. So let's go ahead and jump into our last time lapse, guys. This is a long process for sure. And let's go ahead and get the rest of it masked off, get ready for that dark earth, and then apply it, see what happens. Keep your fingers crossed. We'll see you in a few. All right, everybody, we are back, and we're going to go ahead, and while that is drying off camera, I want to go ahead and fix the front propeller. I've already kind of figured out how far I want that gun to stick out from the front of the propeller hub, so now all I have to do is cut off the excess on the back and then just glue it down using some super glue. A little bit of super glue should help to go ahead and lock that into place, and then once that is 100% not going anywhere, maybe next episode or so, I'll cut off the remainder of that Q-tip. Still need a lot of work though, because I will need to come in and prime this a white color, and then overcoat that with some Vallejo red to go ahead and give me that look I'm going for. And then of course, once that is all done, I can go ahead and come in with the propeller blades, paint those a flat black, paint the tips yellow, glue those in, and the propeller is pretty much done except for some detail painting on that 20mm cannon. And here is the P-400, and already I can tell you I'm not happy with the OD green. I accidentally used the wrong OD green. I used the one for the US Air Force. I need the one for the Army Air Corps, which I don't have. So I'm going to go out and get a new olive drab. The next episode, I'll come back in and we'll fix that wing so it's a nice bit of contrast. Because right now, the OD green that I've got and the British Dark Earth look very, very similar. The camera helps a little bit, but in real life, they look almost identical. So I need to go ahead and fix that. Also, like I mentioned, we're going to come back next episode and paint and prime this front propeller hub. And then, of course, after we finish off that, we can get the olive drab done and then gloss coat everything. And well, we should be ready for decals. So other other than that, guys, we are moving along, and even though the olive drab didn't turn out exactly as I wanted, because it's the wrong olive drab, it still looks very interesting. It's going to look even better when I get the right color. So until our next episode, guys, you know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on episode number 8 for the Eduard P-400 here on Ben Builds. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you soon.